Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission's failure to detect Bernie Madoff's massive Ponzi scheme is front and center on Capitol Hill today. At issue, what needs to be done at the agency to prevent future failures, and can it happen quickly enough? For answers, we turn to our Lindsay Arendt, who is live on Capitol Hill with Senator Richard Shelby of Alabama. Lindsay?
Thanks so much, Pam. And Senator Shelby, ranking member of the Senate Banking Committee, thank you for taking the time. Let's start out with this hearing today. You heard from the SEC's Inspector General who wrote that scathing Madoff report. What stuck out to you in terms of the SEC's ability to move forward from this disaster, really?
Well, what struck me to begin with was the basic incompetence and lack of diligence at the SEC after so many tips dealing with the Madoff scandal. They had opportunities, but they didn't follow them up. One group in the SEC wasn't talking to the other, one office, one over the enforcement. I thought it was a scathing investigation and presentation today. And I think the question is, has SEC really learned? I hope so. But if they haven't, Congress is going to have to step in.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think, in terms of what you heard today about some of the remedies that have already been put in place and what they plan to do going forward, is the SEC going to be in a position to regulate and police the markets and not let these kinds of frauds go undetected in the future?
Well, I think they're going to have to. I think that you've got some outstanding commissioners over there now. You've had them for a while, both sides, Republicans and Democrats, and you've got a new chairman, and I believe they're on the right track, but this is so important. You can't have a bureaucracy that ignores leads that could have shut down the Madoff scandal.
Now, you say Congress will have to get involved if the SEC doesn't fix itself and quickly. What do you mean exactly?
Well, obviously, Congress created the SEC. Congress can add to it or delete whatever they have to. But what the SEC needs to do is do its own house cleaning, I believe. I think some heads need to roll, but I'm not at the SEC because there's got to be accountability and responsibility. Why did this happen? Who's responsible for it? We've got to learn.
Now, who should really take some of the blame here? Former SEC Commissioner Chris Cox was at the helm during a lot of this stuff. Do you think that he should take some of this blame?
Well, this went on for 16, 18 years. I think there's a lot of blame to go along, all the way back. You can go around. The question now is the people there, the enforcement division, where were they? I'm sure that the commissioners were on top of things. Overall, you've got some outstanding people. But you got people working in a huge bureaucracy.
All right, let me ask you this. Let's switch topics. Talk about financial regulatory reform, something your committee's very involved with. Is it going to get done this year, as both the President and Chairman Dodd would like?
Well, it's a good question. It's September now. We're moving along. If we stay here till Christmas and we can get together on a number of items and work them out, I'd say there's a good chance. But what we should not do is set a timeline on legislation this complex, this important. We shouldn't rush to judgment on things that we might not need to do. And there's some areas of agreement, and there's a lot of areas of disagreement, and we've got to resolve those. I'd say slow it down, which we've been doing. Senator Dodd and I on the Senate side have a good working relationship, but we've got work to do.
All right, we got about 10 seconds real quick. What is your feeling about the Consumer Financial Protection Agency? Is that something you're willing to move on?
Well, it bothers me. I raised those questions to begin with. This is moving it away, taking things away from the Fed, taking it from comptroller, perhaps the FDIC. Let's be careful here. What we need to do is right our banking system first. I think the consumers will be protected, but we got to let some consumers protect themselves, too.
All right. Senator Richard Shelby of Alabama, the ranking Republican on the Banking Committee. Thank you so much for your time. We'll send it back to you in New York.
Thank you very much, our Lindsay Arendt.